transient pleasures of the animal realm. If I were one of the stiff-legged robins marching across our meadow, I would be their crimson queen, feathers fluffed and pomaded, a commanding fencer, given my extraordinary beak. And if the woman who thought she could steal my husband were a creeping thing on the ground, a tiny stick of crawling meat, I would open my darkish maw to skewer then devour her. Within 7 minutes, she would be explosively shat into the jonquil. Aphids clinging to leaves, my tender scribes would record the jubilee, and watching me prance, pardoning dissident crickets, trailing moth clouds through Indian grass and purple joe pie, the humans sprawled in camp chairs would rise to compose their first tentative madrigals. The next poem I'm going to read is Questions for the Arborist. We have a lot of trees, so we're in the process of interviewing men to take care of our trees. Questions for the Arborist. Do you yearn, sir, for a trim Eden, and for your client set a regimen of excessive pruning, shaving, clipping, or do you accept, even adore disorder? Are you married? If so, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would your wife rate your passionate kisses? Do you think certain species of trees could be characterized as introverts? If so, are you gentle? Does silence make you nervous? You must understand, our trees are struggling for love. Do you engage in arboreal foreplay before you fertilize? What role does imagination play in your profession? Are you comfortable with the flamboyance of sugar maples? One night last summer, the giant conifer next to the garage moved several feet away. Personal altercation or territorial dispute. No matter, I adopted a laissez-faire attitude toward the new arrangement. Are you willing to do the same? Of man's first disobedience of fruit in forbidden trees, do you have an opinion? Sometimes, sir, I'd twirl in the wind, my mind choppy as Lake Champlain. Will you wait while my thoughts waft like giddy dinghies across the surface? If I told you, I'm afraid, ice jams in the river this winter could clog the tree's flowing chi, would you pledge not to repeat this, spurting and guffawing, Friday night at the Game and Gun Club? Yes or no? Final question. Are trees dreamers? Thank you. Okay, the next poem, the last poem set in the Adirondacks, is insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. When I drank the way this cardinal's smashing himself against our living room window. Again and again, full beak and body slam into glass, until he drops like a shot dove on the grass, staggers, of course, a wobbly flutter back to his juniper branch, again and again. My bird book says that, of course, he's attacking his own reflection. If I can't distract him with aluminum foil or shouts, he might finally meet the delusional goal he's set for himself. Kill someone. Kill the enemy, i.e., himself, it seems. O Lord, or whomever, spare this cardinal. Spare this bewildered being, even just for your own pleasure. Remember, he's your strident, gaudy toy. Wind him up, align his will, launch him flailing at the sky. Okay, so this is a poem that I wrote a while ago, and it was recently published in Calyx. Another version of this poem actually appeared in Calyx. To matrilineal haplogroup K. And actually what happened was that I sent away for one of those home DNA kits. And what you do is you swab out the inside of your mouth, and then you send it off. And what you receive back is information about your purported genetic heritage. So I found out that I was a member of a group, a large genetic cohort called Haplogroup K. And that's to whom this poem is addressed. Okay. To matrilineal haplogroup K after DNA testing. Greetings, my snappish, result-oriented sisters. We wander through crowds unknown to each other, slurping fruit pastries in Salzburg, shopping for bridal gowns at Kleinfeld's, hobbling down Terre Haute hospital halls, trailing intravenous cocktail cords, slamming phones, trading oil futures from Calgary skyscrapers, our DNA still reeling 30,000 years after that trek from the steppes. We feel exhausted, irritable, as those women surely were, their heads covered against wind as they led oxen, tended sick and dying children, counseled men lost with only stars and clouds to guide them, cooked road trip broth of grass and tough goat, all without coffee. Could we have a family reunion of sorts? Could we at last regroup? Could I send you joke emails, dancing kitty videos, that joy of cooking schnitzel recipe to avoid? Could I tell stories about that year I was thrice fired, woman thrice shot from a cannon, catapulted onto the street? Could I talk trash? Could I talk trash about one of my husband's old girlfriends, the cracker, who sexted him via A, the schoolgirl costume series, B, the striptease series, C, the buttocks series, hoisting her whiskered ass for the camera? My own closed genetic cohort is thinned, you know. Mother lunging for the last bargain at Gimbel's. Aunt duck hunting at dawn in northern Wisconsin, canvas sloucher clamped over her curlers. My tiny German grandmother muttering homo figuring, furiously scraping her bunt pan. 3 women, cigarette smoke, swirling, gossiping, plain hearts, drinking coffee. Lutherans, obsessive, pork-eating, streusel-baking Lutherans, all gone. With sisters and cousins flung across North America, some numbed by vodka and Percocet, others sweet knucklehead waiting for Jesus in Butte or Kenosha. I shoot my flares into Brooklyn's night sky, hoping you, any of you, my dear Haplogroup K, will find me. Okay. Thank you. The last poem that I'll read is titled Shine. And Shine, or shamatha, is a Tibetan Buddhist word for taming the mind or calming the mind. Shine. On our 20 acres, I will tend an unruly pony herd. They will buck and bite, but I will not back away. I will brush their rough coats and comb their stiff manes. They will snap when I bring them their hay, and I will note the pony's foolishness and train them. Light, skillful flicks of the whip, to pull me to town and back, to Essex, to wherever I choose to go, in a wooden cart painted yellow. We will rattle under sun, clouds, shadows, and rain, and I will bounce behind their industrious flanks. I will call the sturdiest pilgrim. Later I will pour mash into their buckets, pluck burrs from hooves, bandage their leg wounds. They will begin to gaze shyly at me in the barn. After 7 years I will blow into their trembling ears to release them, but they will decide to remain, guardians of the perimeter. At dawn, I will teach them their prayers, and at noon, I will shoo black flies from their eyes before they leave to traverse our pastures and fields. From the lonely meadow, they will nibble clover. She will delight in the pull. Long ago, she married the faithless wind. Fox-headed dakinis will watch us from the forest. At dusk, smoking a corncob pipe, like my grandmother smoked in Alberta, I will wait on the porch with my consort for their return. their news and reports from the realm. At night I will sing to them of pony kings as they sleep. Thank you.